Sunday.
And they think that this is just for the recording. No, just have to deal with this all the time. This is you.
Hey.
Mojito. What are you talking about?
That's that Michael Jackson.
Tell you.
X. No, Terrence, I want to light one of my things. I said I was gonna light it yesterday. That's why my motherfucking session fucked up, because I ain't have my little true sense going. That's what the fuck happened.
But you get your mind right.
True aromatherapy. True sense. True sensations. Oh, they smell so good. They smell so good. I love it. Okay. It is Sunday. This makes sense for us to have a good talk like this. I said that was enough.
Yeah. Don't call me like that. You called me throwing popcorn back like, you in the podcast? Yeah. I'm going to call you when this get done, mama. Okay. All right. You in the podcast? Like, yeah. It's Self-Care Sunday. Yeah.
Hey, I'm here for the talk. Let's talk about it.
Bounce. Bounce. It's Self-Care Sunday. Yeah. Yo, what it do? What it do? What it do? You already know it's my favorite day of the week. It is Self-Care Sunday. And I am here. I am your host, Royalty, in the place to be. Nope, I ain't even going to start that on Sunday. I'm going to start doing something different. I'm going to come up with a completely different whole ordeal for how I'm going to start bringing these Sundays in. But we are here. We are here in the place to be. And I am here with Dr. Classic on Sundays. It's something about this. It's something about this New Year thing that we're doing that's really got me like pumped up. And my vision is different. You know what I'm saying? You know how you do something and you already have like a set vision on what you're doing. So then you get to there.
Okay.
So you gotta realign everything and create a new vision, because of course everything has to elevate. Like knowing that I'm like taking steps and I'm moving forward to that next vision that I got. Yeah. You know what I mean? Feels good, especially when you're prepared for it. Like we said on the last one, the proper preparation. I prepared for it, you know what I mean, the proper way. You know what I mean? I had, of course, we human. We have our stumbling moments, our stepping stones and boulders that get in the way. Sometimes it be construction on the road and you got to take a detour. But as long as you get back on, but like I tell people, if it was too easy,
yeah,
that means something might not be right with it. That's why I don't believe in shortcuts. You know what I mean? Taking shortcuts to try to get to places, or taking shortcuts to do stuff. Taking shortcuts lead you to the police being behind you. Taking shortcuts run you into unexpected traffic. Like, man, I should have just stayed on this. But yeah, just knowing I'm on the right track, you know what I'm saying, to doing everything that I said I was going to do and that I want to do. And there's still things that I still got to think about that I'm going to do. You know what I mean? That I haven't had the idea yet, but I know it's going to come one day. I got to prepare for all that type of stuff, so on that note, it is lovely, and I'm glad that we are able to continue to do these. You know what I mean? You know, when it come down to podcast and it's them 7 episodes, we talked about this before. You know what I mean? Let me see you get through 7 episodes. That's the stumbling thing with this. You know what I mean? When you get the basketball team or something, you gotta you got to try out for the team, and tryouts is the thing to get through before you make the team. And it's a couple lists to go through, and sometimes your name might be under the red line, and you like, I don't know if I'm gonna make it, but I'm able to come to the next tryouts. That's how.
You on something over there. I see you moving.
That's how the
wins the race. That's the secret sauce right there.
And that's how this whole thing, that's how everything worked, and that's how this podcast thing worked. You know what I'm saying? And Self Care Sunday done got past this 7 episode run.
Woo, woo, woo.
And now it's solidified. You know what I mean?
With the people, they be asking about it. What y'all gonna record? What y'all recording this week? I'm like, yes. If you asking, I'm giving. I love it. I'm glad we engaged.
That's the main thing, to see that the people like watching and paying attention, listening, and they coming back. They got comments, you know what I mean? Or even if it's just like, I like that, you know what I mean? It's just what helps keep it going. It helps to keep it improving. So we do love y'all. We do shout y'all out. We do appreciate y'all, and this thing only gonna get better. You know what I mean? I'm glad we was able to really capture the visual aspects now and bring that to it. It makes it a little bit more interesting, and it gives it a little bit more of a personal feel. When you're able to connect like emotion within, or you're able to connect a visual with something, they're able to feel, and they know that what we're saying is actually like not scripted and stuff. It's actually like what we know, and it's what we study, and it's what we practice. So I just love the people. I think on a lot of stuff, but humanity is
don't just give you that energy, man. I see you. You and your listen. I'm being quiet. I'm listening. I'm listening like everybody else. I'm tuning in. I'm trying to get myself care. This is for me.
I kind of woke up on it. Like I told you, I was I got some stuff that's going on in my life. Some changes that I'm gonna head to, some things that I need to do, progression that I'm aiming for, and I've been discussing with you a lot about some changes and things that I want to do. And as I prayed on that and I looked into that, I kind of woke up, I think Saturday morning. I woke up, and when I woke up, my mind went right into like this fight, flight, or freeze kind of thing. My situation kind of puts me into that aspect. We're all familiar with fight or flight. If you got what I had got you, I'm kind of piggybacking. We all kind of familiar with fight or flight. You know what I mean? How we react to situations is not always applied to battle, but it is always applied to survival. And survival comes from many aspects. You know what I mean? It could come from battle. It can come from greatness. It can come from success. It can come from happiness. It can come from career. It can come from relationship. You know what I mean? All of this stuff can be summed up to a means of some kind of survival. And when we run into survival issues, that's where we run into fight or flight. Are we going to stand and take on the battle and fix it and conquer it? Or are we going to try to outrun this problem so that we don't have to deal with it anymore? You know what I mean?
Reality overruns favor. You'll go to some familiar places overruns favor. You'll run to something familiar and miss out on your favor. I get it. So let's keep chopping it up. What we talking about?
Right. So we right, as you can see, we all have a lot of knowledge when it comes down to fight or flight, but no one really has the knowledge on what it means to freeze. You know what I mean? And necessarily freezing can be good or bad. You know what I mean? It just depends on how the person reacts to it. Sometimes you want to put it in a bad aspect though. I typically put freeze into a bad aspect, because what freeze is it's you understanding that the issue or whatever it is that at hand that you have to battle, this issue could be good for you, bad for you. It may be too big for you to handle, so you don't want to fight it. But then you also may not be able to outrun it because it's faster than you. So flight is not an option either. So you freeze. And freeze means you want to take yourself away from that present moment so that that problem doesn't even exist to you anymore. But what the cons to freezing is it can be a manipulation on like anxiety and depression for you. Because what happens is when you freeze, you never face that issue.
Yes. Yes.
So it comes back.
Okay.
And it can come back in the moment of your success, or it can come back in a moment of something bad going on, and you would have to face it then, because we have to face every issue that we encounter.
Okay. All right. So, and you're right, because I always like to give people some things. So we numb the feel it freezing is what it looks like in life is we just numb off what that problem is. We don't directly hit it. It's not a direct hit punch dead on. Like we're not going to address it. This adult cohort is the most addicted, obese, medicated, and in debt adult cohort in this nation's history. And what we do is we just medicate and drink and just we push down what that pain is, or whatever that trauma is, or whatever it is we don't want to address. And that really is part of what freezing is. Like we just try and we get to a place where we can just be still. We know we can go better, know we can do things, know we can make better decisions, but we're comfortable and we can be in place. We freeze.
Right. And that's exactly what happens. We try to just mask it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But even when you put a band-aid over a scar, one day you got to take the band-aid off and let the scar heal itself.
True. Very
You know what I mean? You only cover the open wound. You protect it. You know what I mean? You don't want it to get infected. You know what I mean? And that's what happens when we run into situations. We try to protect it. So we mask it. We're protecting our own feelings. You know what I mean? But to really protect your own feelings, you have to conquer. You have to face whatever it is that you're dealing with. You know what I mean? And you have to figure out if it's for you or not for you. Can you beat it? Can you not beat it? Is it for you? Is it not for you? You have to face these issues. So freezing should not be an option, but sometimes freezing should be an option. Because sometimes what you're doing does not require you to have to figure out that certain issue or situation then. But this is where you overcome the freezing and you have to understand to turn it on, because now I need to address that issue before it affects me in the long run.
How do you even switch gears? What's the I guess people look for what's the benefit. I think when that becomes a crutch, when freezing becomes a crutch and it's something that we just commonly do and it's just kind of how we adapt and live our life, you have to see the benefit in not freezing. Like there is a greater side to freezing. It once you start to address things, man, you start to get that weight off your back. Like you don't have to carry that weight. You can do so, you lighter on your feet. That means your movement gets better. And hopefully you hear what I'm trying to say. Like you move a little better when you can address certain things. But it's times where we have to understand that freezing just makes the journey longer. We're not going to get any closer. We're going to have to address it. We're going to have to go through it anyways. I feel like if we can get more people to understand it's time for those lights to go on, it's time for us to fight back, and it's time for us to move forward and just kind of deal with what's coming. Live.
What has to be understood is that freezing doesn't cancel out the chaos.
Yeah. Okay.
You know what it does is just turn the sound off on it.
Well, I'm not saying it gets easier. I'm saying you got to get better.
Right. And that's why I'm trying to I want people to understand that, like, it doesn't cancel out the chaos.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like being in that battle, you know what I mean, where somebody's talking loud, so you talk louder.
Right.
So now that you talk louder than them, they may shut up. But then they come back next week with a stronger argument that shuts you down. You know what I mean? That's what freezing is. Freezing is that battle for the men out there. Freezing is that battle that you get into with your girlfriend or your wife, or you know what I mean, or your spouse, where you might have won because you got louder and you walked out the house and you shut the door. You know what I'm saying? But then you came back, but she ain't cooked no dinner. She ain't made no breakfast. She ain't laid your clothes out. Everything seemed a little bit harder now. Now you got to deal with the issue because you didn't confront it right then and there when you was with her. You decided to run. You know what I mean? Or you just froze. You said, forget it. I ain't finna deal with it. You walk away, go to the homeboy's house and partake in whatever you do, and you come back hoping it vanished in air. It vanished in air, but now look at all the consequences that come behind it that you got to deal with, because you should have just handled it and then went with the homeboys.
And I guess that's what I'm saying. Like, if we know in time, and there are so many levels to what people are dealing with, but if we know in the moment that if we can just address what's happening, let's do it in the moment. Tension is needed to make, you know what I mean? That's how you build strength. You're gonna need the tension anyways. But I think what I'm trying to say is, like, make it worthwhile tension. Like, I don't want tension that, we can't address and move forward. Some of that stuff is holding us in place. Some of that stuff is environments. There are environments that people are just dragging on, and they need to get in different environments. That's where you grow. That's where you succeed. That's where you eat. You know what I mean? Like, it's just changing your environment. You don't got to hold on.
Freezing you're letting the environment stop you from growing.
Yeah.
And one thing to look at when with freezing is freezing can decline you.
Yeah.
Because when you're in a frozen state, there's no room for progression. So
Facts.
when there's no room for progression, then there's room for degression. You know what I'm saying? So some people stay froze too long. You know what I'm saying? It's like freeze tag. You froze too long. Somebody come untag me.
That's a good way to look at it. I think freezing is like a way for the excuse comes out like you feel captive. You know how people say, I feel stuck? It's not
Yeah,
like you feel stuck, you're not really ready to make a decision. Let's call it what it is. Like, you know what you need to do, but you also can kind of deal and adapt with what you got going on. No, it just means step forward and make a decision. That's when it gets lighter on your shoulders. Like, and it's okay to sometimes let people down if the direction is forward, just like time, because it's not going backwards. If the direction is forward and people are not going to be on that mission, sometimes cutting it off is okay, because freezing is what's not okay. And freezing, and it happens on so many levels. Like, I think it's one of those things that you have to be realistic about your situation. What is it that you're freezing on? And then sometimes we feel like we have to address this huge problem. Really, it's these underlining things that we need to get a handle on. People who call themselves a procrastinator, yeah, I guess you are. Like, if I say I'm a procrastinator, I am a procrastinator. And I'm gonna start to now do that in behavior because I already said it to myself. I already believe that that's what it is. And that is also becomes okay. So now I'm starting to create another pattern. So it's just one of those things where we just have to understand that it's work. It's gonna be work. It gotta get done. So do it, and do it good, and be good at what you're doing.
Get your mind right. That's what you better. That's what you better do.
classic.
Hey,
Another thing that helps with it is grounding. So when you're getting these moments of fight, flight, or freeze, the best thing that you can do for yourself is ground yourself. Because when you ground yourself, it allows you to be present in the moment. And being present in the moment is going to help you with that decision making.
yeah,
But what bad decision making does is it plays on our anxiety and it plays on our depression. These are feelings that no one can get away from. We all have them. You know what I mean? No one is immune to them. And what happens is anxiety arises because you're too worried about what's going to happen in the future. Anxiety is asking that question, what's going to happen next? What's going to happen next? I don't know. You know what I mean? Because of everything that's happening right now, you question the future. That's how anxiety plays, where depression relies on the past. You're dwelling on everything that been happened, everything that did happen, everything that once happened. And
and you're addicted to those thoughts. You're addicted to those thoughts. You want to keep thinking about that over and over, and eventually you start to take that on as your reality. Everything that you think of that holds you captive, that will slow you down, that will be an oppressor, that fear will make sure that you do exactly that. You start to, what you say, you manifested it.
exactly.
And then you made it your reality. So if you're gonna keep thinking these bad thoughts, listen, you have the guest list to your thoughts. Start telling yourself how long you're gonna spend on that, and cross it off, and be ready to move on. One of my friends told me, the part that I hate is just be my thoughts. I'm just thinking all day. I'm like, don't sit around all day. Do something that gets your mind into other things. And I know it's hard, but if you actually put yourself in different environments, sometimes if you challenge yourself to just be present in that moment, in that environment, there's a different outcome. Opportunities open up, like things open up, new lenses are captive, your access changes. So I mean, that's my thought to it, is like, really just become present in the moment, manifest good things, and let's see some good things happen. Let's win together.
And that's grounding. You know what I mean? It separates that. You know what I mean? It kind of breaks that chaos down to where it can help you with decision making. Grounding creates that. It creates that safe feeling that we're looking for. You know
Okay.
what I mean? That's what happens when we get into that fight flight. You know what I mean? That fight, flight, or freeze. When we get into that state, this is just because our body is now reacting into a survival mode. So we just want to feel safe. This is how we lower anxiety. This is how we lower our depression. This is how we lower our stress levels. You know what I mean? By feeling safe. You know what I mean? Practicing grounding techniques, because that's just what it is. Grounding helps you be aware in the moment. You know what I mean? In the present moment that you're in, that's all you want to do. When you're aware in that present moment, you can break down any situation. You know what I mean? You become more calmer when you're grounded. So now you can look at it like, all I have to do is this, and then that'll set me up better. And okay, well, let me just worry about this right now. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna worry about who I gotta call tomorrow and what I gotta get up and handle tomorrow. I need to worry about what it is that I can take care of now to even set me up for tomorrow. Because when you're not grounded, This causes you to not do little things like go to the gas station because you know you got an appointment in the morning, but you don't prepare to have a flat tire in the morning. So now in the morning you running late as it is because you didn't set your alarm because you were so irritated from the day. You know what I mean? You're not being present in the moment. So you didn't set your alarm. You wake up late. So now you're already stressing because now you're rushing. Then you get outside and your tire flat. Now your tire flat. So now you're running out of more time. Now you're really stressing. And then you still got to go to the gas station. But this is something that you knew already. But you didn't take care of this because you were so chaotic from it. If you can see like the diagram I'm doing right here on the table, you will see how like it affects you from here, like you starting here and then you come here because this is the starting point. So you're happy. But then from happiness, you came right over here. Now you're mad because something done irritated you. So now you're not present in the moment. And not being present in the moment is causing you to what? Depress. You know what I mean? Because you're worried about old things. You know what I'm saying? So when you start to go into depression, it just triggers your anxiety. You know what I mean? Because now while you're not taking care of these old things, you're worried about what's going to happen to the future. So now you're frozen in this moment.
Yeah.
And now we know when you're frozen because of depression being frozen, now you're going to degress because you can't progress. So it causes you to go down here because now this is the next situation you have to take care of, which leads you to this situation that you knew you had to take care of. And now you're at this situation, but you have to come back to this situation. You're never able to get back up to this starting point that you were at because you didn't take care of these little things at the bottom. So by being grounded, coming from the bottom, you sort it out from here, which helps you do nothing but build back up to the starting point. And now you can mirror this same image that you did down here this way.
And then get back to the basics. And you're right. We talk about it, and I always make the statement. It's only 2 days we really can't do anything about: tomorrow and yesterday.
Yesterday, right?
So out of all the days you can do something about, which would be today, get it done. Do it. Do what you can today to make sure that tomorrow looks brighter. Man, you can change the trajectory. You can make it a little easier on yourself, and really just I'm with you attacking what's at the bottom, what's at the baseline, get back to the basics, and really just directly hit it dead on.
People have to create a way for them to just get their self back into a calm state. And not look for other people to help them get there. You know what I mean? That's what Self Care Sunday is all about. We want to teach and help people be more self aware for self improvement. You know what I mean? To their self character. You know what I mean? Everything is self at the beginning. So you need to create for yourself, you know what I mean, some type of way to get back to your calm state. You know what I mean? This is how you kill the chaos by calming down.
Yeah.
I read a meme that I had to share on Facebook because what it stated was a warrior never hates because hate crowds the mind. You know what I mean? And you won't even be able to know your enemy because of hate. So your enemy actually gets the best of you when you have hate on your heart because that just crowds your mind. You know what I mean? So that's how you look at it. When you're dealing with chaos, we don't love chaos. We hate chaos. So instead of attacking chaos, we just sit there and hate it. And it crowds our mind from being calm enough to figure out how to even defeat it. So now we're just stuck in the chaos and don't know how to get out. And we're looking for somebody to find us within our own chaos and pull us out.
Let me tell you something I heard. It's almost like what I feel is when we don't understand the magnitude of the problem, you know what I mean? Like when we don't get the weight or understand truly what the problem is, we apply the wrong strategy.
Facts.
And when we do that, we spin our circles and we overlook stuff, and we don't we don't get to a place where we are meeting it where it is and addressing it to a point where then it starts to change our character. Sometimes it started to have us moving differently, like, and instead of thinking that that's not the direction, that's furthest away from becoming who you're supposed to be, it's blocking that now. We just kind of adapt. We just kind of become okay with it, and then it becomes people doing something for clout or likes or follows, and then you really not yourself. So it becomes difficult to try and show up like somebody you're not every day. That's a task. You know what I mean? Like that's hard. It's hard.
Remember how we were just talking and I was speaking on like the connection to everything in life?
Yeah.
One thing about wildlife animals that people don't understand is this: they understand life.
Okay.
Humans are trying to understand life. where animals are more free so they understand life better. You know what I mean? We're not in the minds of them, but if you actually pay attention to their actions,
Mhm.
you kind of see the understanding of life that they have. So think about like elephants, lions, tigers. What happens? They have homes. They build homes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Places for them to raise their young. When chaos arises in those areas, they leave, find a new environment and adapt to it and create what they want. They have the understanding that you have to move on. You got to move on. You got to move on. Even bugs, even plants. You know what I mean? They understand. Why won't this rose bush grow anymore? Because you need to pull a root up and plant it somewhere else. This is a dead zone now.
And I wonder if it wasn't us that blocked that privilege, because when I think of, okay, just think of colonies of a certain insect species. They have a system in which they do things, and you know that it's a system. If you're walking down the street and you see ants and they're making a straight line from one point to their dirt hill, and I mean it's consistent, right? You just, the thing is I wonder if our minds, and really what I think of when I think of our minds, we just kind of had this conversation, our the person in us, our flesh, whatever it is, they somehow we have this colluded mentality that we are better. And because we changed the script of kind of how it was supposed to rotate, like what was really supposed to happen, how we were supposed to evolve as a human, as man, was really derailed because we thought we were greater. So now we dealing with an overarching issue. We probably all on freeze. We thinking we making money and doing big moves, but it's destruction for us though. And we talking ecosystem, whether it's the ozone, whether it's global warming, whatever it is, with lack of water. We have more cow feast than we should ever have. There should never be that many animal slaughterhouses. What are we doing? But here we go.
It's the ego, and that's exactly what it is. It's the battle from man.
The ego. Where's Echo? Where Echo at? We got to be ready.
It's the battle of mankind, and that's exactly what it is. Man, you hear it being spoken on sometimes that man is the greatest creation. No, I believe that man is the worst thing that ever happened to
Pretty close, huh? To ourselves.
man. Came in and created the word pollution based off of what they were doing. You know what I mean? Versus what man was doing. Man brought evil into the world. It's so funny that we roll into this conversation because when I woke up this morning, Noah just so happened to be on the TV, and that's the beginning. You know what I mean? Like that's where it starts. And he kind of broke that down up in there. Like man destroyed everything was beautiful and peace and harmony, but then man comes in and does what? Gets persuaded by a serpent to do bad. That's the first sign of evil. That's the first sign of bad on planet Earth was from man, not an animal. Because animals do what they're supposed to do. Animals hunt other animals that they're supposed to hunt because some animals won't go extinct. They're here. Some animals are here for others to feed on. You know what I mean? Would why would carnivores be created if they're not supposed to eat meat? You feel what I mean? But then you also need the what is it, herbivores, the one you know what I mean, you need them because they have to, exactly, you have to eat this stuff so the new stuff can go. I had a conversation with my friend and that's what she was breaking down about my own hair. Like you got to cut the ends off because how do you expect life to grow on something dead? You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
This is the same thing that we do. We're supposed to pick these plants and these fruits and eat them because we eat those before they die out so that the new life can keep coming. But when we're not eating that stuff because we're slaughtering these animals that's not supposed to get slaughtered, they don't come back. So now we got a low count on meat. We got a low count on this. We got a low count on that because that's not how we're meant to survive. We're not meant to be obese. We're not meant to be rolls and you know what I mean. That's why it's like American food. When you go to other places, they don't eat like we eat. People love to
So
come here,
crazy we having this conversation, man.
and it's crazy how it all rolls off of the fight, flight, or freeze situation.
And I wasn't even going this way. When we talked, we were not going in this direction. I know y'all think that we was boom to boom boom. No, these none of our notes say this. None of our notes. We ain't even started the notes. We ain't gonna get to the notes. The first 10 minutes was the notes. I'm cool with it because to me it makes sense. And all of this is one of them things where one, just getting to a new truth. One thing you did say that makes sense to me is that you read a lot. And you can tell that you do because our conversation, we can go anywhere with them. Like we got to get to a place where we at least open our eyes up to what possibilities can be. We get off of this like nation freeze. I think we're all in a freeze. We all need something new. There's no coincidence that this whole year happened. 2020 happened because it needed to happen. And that's my take. I gotta stop.
Because you brought up 2020, and I don't know if I said this on live before, but I'm gonna say it again.
Okay.
2020. I wear glasses. So the only time I ever heard 2020, the first thing I think about vision. 2020 was the year for you to see yourself. 2020 was the year for you to see if you're a monster or not. You know,
Monster too.
when you have to say monster, you got to understand it. And I kind of got a different look on the word monster from watching Power when Tariq had to say that he's like, I'm not a monster. Because in his mind, it's like I'm not good. It's not a good or bad thing. It's like I'm not a monster. I've only done what I've been taught and what I gotta do. So you can't make me a monster based off the decisions that I made based off of what I was taught. And this is what 2020 allowed you to see. You had to do everything that you were taught, even from how you sat in the house and you dealt with your own children. You dealt with your children in the way that you were dealt with. You dealt with life in the way that you were taught to deal with it. So either some people got up and got it, or some people sat back and waited for it. And this is where some people ran into problems in their life because you let what you were taught defeat you in 2020. You didn't take that time to see yourself. 2020 was all about vision. 2021 is all about action.
And some people got up and they realized that, man, I am dope. I am great. I can be more. And this, man, 2020 gonna be the start of a lot of stories, good, bad, or indifferent. Man, remember in 2020 when the pandemic was I had to go home and I was this and I was to my wife and now my boyfriend and my pastor and my cousin, whoever it is, when you have to figure out how that story go. Or one day I just started, one day I was thinking, one day I wrote down, like a lot of you, there was, if you had the opportunity to not go without during the season. So if you were in an okay place, you ate every day, no issues, shame on you if you didn't take advantage of 2020. Shame on you if you didn't take advantage of having to sit still and be at home and build and grow and manifest something great for yourself. Like this was the year, if you were frozen, like try and knock yourself to be unfrozen, like get off of that freeze part. And not that you are doing anything great to anybody else's measure, but just that you're getting involved in your time. You're becoming more of who you're supposed to be, a clear version of yourself, and you're servicing people with it. When all of that connects, man, we all gonna keep on looking up. And like I tell you, we gonna have our deja vu moments. We gonna have moments that feel good. We working past it. We addressing things, and and my slogan.
No, because we're live, you're not going to pass up, break down your view on deja vu, because that's a great way for a lot of people to actually look at deja vu.
Okay, you're right. So when I think of deja vu, really, deja vu to me, I have them in real short segments. I think a deja vu is I'm seeing a period of time that I could have never lived through, not in my current state, my current real flesh. I could have lived through that quick moment, and it's a quick snap. But it's times where I'm sitting and it's down to the detail. One time I'm sitting in a conference and I'm waiting, we're speaking to the speakers, and I was at the stage and I'm talking to the speaker and I went to sit back down in my seat, turn around and I looked at my coworker and I, in that moment, and I we talked about it being present. Her blazer, everything came to me, to the detail in her blazer. It was this woman standing up, reaching to grab something, the way the chairs were set up, where I was standing and sitting. I just had that quick glimpse. And for me, deja vu means that I'm on the right path, because I couldn't have lived it from where I was born, how I grew up, where I went to school at, how I got to this very desk to do this very episode. It was in no time could I have lived that before this moment. And then that moment happened. So for me, deja vu is saying you're aligning with your journey. Like you're in the right place. Keep fighting, keep pushing through, for me.
And that's a perfect way
to look at it, because just think about what deja vu is. A lot of the times when people get deja vu, they get deja vu in good moments.
Yeah.
They're not
Yes.
moments, they're calming moments where you're either sitting there relaxing with people
Boom.
that you love to be around or something, and you always go, oh, I had deja vu. So for you to take deja vu and break it down to an aspect of saying, well, this is yourself letting you know that you're on the right track. Because right, deja vu is what defined as a moment or something that happened before that's being repeated, you know what I mean, like visually. How can you visually repeat something you never did? So that's just yourself letting you know that you're on the right track or you're doing what you're supposed to do. That's dope.
And I love to have them, and I don't have them often, but when I do, I thank God. Right, the first person I'll be like, "Thank you, God. Thank you." All right, cool. I'm good. Thank you, God.
In a magicianal type of way, I'll be sitting there like, what happened next? But if you had a deja vu moment, then you're like, well, what happened next then? You know what I'm saying? Because then it's like it almost puts you in that butterfly effect moment where you like, because I don't want to mess up nothing.
Man, nothing. But what you just said, I don't pull out my pencil and now start to connect the next dot. I'm not looking for my next deja vu moment. I just get real still in the moment, and hey, I just
Present.
bounce. I do whatever I feel I do next. I'm not touching it. Me touching it, I'm sure my journey was way too long. I could have been where I was sitting at. I'm sure I made it long. So I'm gonna leave it alone. It wasn't on.
And falling into that conversation, the next conversation behind that works so perfectly, because what deja vu allows you to do is to get in touch with your five senses.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? And that is all a part of grounding. That's how you get more, you know what I mean, get connected to grounding. And you know what I mean? And you calm yourself by using your five senses. You take that moment to be present in that moment, and understand what you feel, understand what you see. If there's something to taste, what is it? If there's something to smell, what is it? Is there something to feel? What is it? You know what I mean? So if you're in a deja vu moment, you take that same thing. You take those five senses and you apply them. Oh, I remember this moment. I had seen this. Yep, I remember it smelled like this. You got all the way down to the detail. I seen her blazer jacket. Like I knew. Your five senses get in touch when you become present in the moment and you understand everything so much clearer.
And for the listeners, no lie, this is so honest to truth. Because when you said something about sense, I wasn't even thinking about it. Not 5 minutes ago, at that moment when I had the reason why we're talking about deja vu, because before we jumped in here, we were talking about deja vu because I had a deja vu moment with us. Something I was doing, this whole situation and scenario was like, oh wait, I did this. This is deja vu, and I was like, let me explain it to him because it's a good thing for me, and we got to rapping about it. 5 minutes before that conversation, I lit a true scent, and I swear to you, when I had the deja vu moment, it was like the smell. It was like it's a nice little cool breeze in here. You see, I got on the little hoodie. It's like nice and cool. The lights, the windows are open, and it's just I was all present. It was kind of like exactly what you were saying. And hey, y'all, get this true scent. Where did I put my true scent? Because I really no lie. If y'all feel like the True Scent wasn't good, hit my DM and I'll buy the pack that you bought that wasn't good. True Scents. Get this, because I don't know, and I know you're gonna put it in a thing, but listen, I got pineapple and apple. I love the apple. This stuff they smell good, they rock good, and they kind of have you in a good little. Let's talk. Let's listen. Hey, I'm here for the talk. Let's talk about it.
And this is where I went with them, and this is my thing about true. Why I say true aromatherapy.
Yes.
What True Sense promote is more so. It's not more about getting with the lavender and the chakras and all of that stuff. Like I do have a chakra set that you know what I mean, I do sell, but the main thing that I follow in life is if you feel good. I'm sorry. If you look good, you feel good. If you feel good, you do good. You know what I'm saying? And when you have a night, like you just said, you just put it in broad terms without even talking to me. You explained exactly what it is, what my mission is. You sit there, you light one, you get the moment. It's breezy in here. It smelled good in here. So what did that do? That promoted you to feel good. So then
The reason why, don't skip over it. The reason why you said it, I had a failed a session last night. I was trying to record my productive vibe session, and I said I'm gonna light one of these. I just got it in the mail. I'm gonna light one of these during our session because we sitting there and we vibing, we chilling. My session got tore up from everything technical that could go wrong, and I did not light my incense. So before this, I'm like, oh, let me find my true scent. When I say this whole thing disconnected, I don't know what to tell you. Like, get your true scents. I already said if it don't work for you, and let's be honest about it, I'll buy your bag, but get your true scents.
And that's all I try to promote, and that's what I kind of do in my house. A lot of people catch the vibe that way because you come in, you know, it's gonna be some kind of aroma. You know what I mean? The vibe is right. It don't get too loud. It's calming. I'm like a fan of that. That's kind of like what I promote, and that's what that's all about. You know what I'm saying? Clean your house up good, burn you a true scent, and watch how your stress levels go down, but your happiness level go up, because that's the amazing thing what those five senses can do, just from inhaling a good smell, or just from seeing something cute. Like some people like baby bunnies and stuff like that. You see them, your stress level go down, you know what I'm saying, but your happiness level go up. You smell something good. How many times you been riding angry and you smell some chicken or something, shoot, I'm ready to eat now. Like, man, I done got so mad, I'm ready. No, it's not. You just finding a calming moment by using your five senses. That's all it is. You blocking out the chaos by using your five senses.
It worked for me, Joe.
I was having a conversation earlier about a dog. You know what I'm saying? When you stressing or you under a lot of anger or something, your dog can come by you because it senses that. And it's like begging you to pet it, because it's facts and science has proven that if you actually rub a dog, it'll lower your stress levels. You know what I'm saying? So it's like that's how important your five senses is. It's not about saying I like how this jacket feel. Man, I like the smell of red velvet cake. Oh, I like the taste of. Use it to your life. You know what I mean? Apply it to your life too. That's why it's important to get outside and smell the air. Breathe through the nose. They teach you that. Breathe through the nose, not through the mouth. Exhale out the mouth, but breathe through the nose, because inhaling through your nose is completely different. Your mouth is used to taste. Everything ain't supposed to be tasted. You don't taste lavender, you smell it. That's how you get relaxed. That's how you lower stress. You know what I'm saying? Eating lavender doesn't lower stress. Smelling it does.
And I guess you would know because these true sensations, therapy, get you right, get you right, get you right.
You got our AC for the day?
It is Self-Care Sunday, and we got to do an audience call.
Always.
This conversation was definitely for you. And if it wasn't, thank you for allowing me the space to let it be for me, because this was a good conversation. We're looking for folks who are really understanding that there is something past fight or flight. There is freeze. And in order to get from an unfrozen position, there has to be some movement. It's time to warm it up and make plays. So we're looking for people who are really trying to get to their next level, understanding that the only limit is you. So if you're going to allow that to be the limit, then there's no place to be made. I know that our listeners are looking for the next thing. They're looking for the next level, and we are here for you. So continue to vibe with us, rock with us on Self-Care Sundays. And I turn it over to you, Royalty, Pastor T.
Sunday. And you know how I like to sum it up. As always, I like to leave you with the acronym. That's peace. Positive energy always creates elevation. Peace, love, prosperity, and until next time, Self-Care Sunday. Out.
Hey, I'm here for the talk. Let's talk about it.
Bounce. Bounce. Self-Care Sunday. We on bounce. Bounce. Bounce.